Good morning, Janelle. I see you there. Hang on. Here we go. Awesome. Come on in. Come on in. Crazy yesterday. I appreciate everybody's patience because yesterday was first day of school around here. Big day. First day of public school. Going from tiny Montessori class to big public school. So navigating buses. It was crazy. Early. It was so hopefully this will work out. We might have to change the timing. We'll see. But I'm excited. So come on in. For those of you joining us, say hello. Let me know you're here live. If you're watching on the replay, put hashtag replay. And definitely don't forget to put your takeaways in the comments. And for those of you joining for the very, very first time, good morning. I'm Dr. Disha, cardiologist who deals with all matters of the heart, deals with, talks about, speaks of, whatever. Hard for me to ignore, right? All matters of the heart. I'm also the founder of the Path to Meditation Mastery, Meditation for Female Physician Group, the Heart Centered Living Group, Natural Antidotes to Stress. Good morning, Dr. Rebecca. Hello. Good morning. So we like to meet here as often as we can, Monday through Friday, 7 to 7:30 a.m. Eastern. We might be changing that. I got to figure it out. But for now, it's what we're going to do. And to have a healthy breakfast for our minds, souls, and spirits, to set the intention for the day, to set the tone for the day, so we can have a good day. And every day that's good leads to a week that's good, which leads to a month that's good, which leads to a year that's good. And it's a domino effect in a good way. And so, good morning, Michelle. Awesome. Good morning. So excited that you're here with us. So psyched about that. Awesome. I'm going to turn this down. I love it. Alrighty. Awesome. So, we're going to do a couple readings for the day. Today is September 8th. Ooh, you know what though? But I'm going to give you yesterday's too because it's really good. All right, here we go. So September 7th, so that was yesterday's. By living from our higher self, ego ends naturally. And we are able to genuinely love and respect ourselves. I'm going to repeat that. By living from our higher self, ego ends naturally, and we are able to genuinely love and respect ourselves. So this is kind of deep. And this is one of the things that we do talk about in some of the group coaching sessions that we do in the Path to Meditation Mastery. And we talk about the differences between our authentic self, our conditioned self, and our loving, wise adult identity. And so when we're talking about living from our higher self, this is also our soul conscious self. So one of the other premises that we talk about in these morning sessions is the fact that we're not human beings having a spiritual experience or seeking a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. What is the human experience? The human experience is everything that you've been doing all your life. Get up, go to bed, get up, go to school, go to bed, get up, go to school, go to college, go to get a job. It's the drama of life. Get in a fight with this person and that person and whatever, right? All the stuff that, well, all of it's just the drama of life. So that's the human experience. And when we get drawn in and caught up in that human experience, there's a lot of sorrow. There's a lot of that duality of life, good and bad and contrast and all this stuff, which is all wonderful and juicy to make it exciting. But if we're always getting dragged down by it, if we're suffering, if we're just stressed out all the time because of everything that's going on outside of us, the next thing you know, you're in this place and you're like, what is going on? What happened to my life, right? And so it's important to recognize, okay, hold on. I am a soul. I'm not this body. The soul is actually invisible. It's the invisible energy that's animating the body. Once, and I tell everybody all the time, I'm saying this every single day, even at midnight. I was on call last night. I got a call, at midnight, and it was about this patient, this daughter of a patient, and she's like, oh, my dad is so sick, and he left AMA, against medical advice, from the ER. We've been there, right, docs? We've been there. And she's like, and he's got diagnosed with pancreatitis, and he's not going to go back because he's terrified because he watched both of his parents die in the hospital. Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, and you're calling, you say, I don't know what to do with this blood pressure medicines because his blood pressure is lower, and he's throwing up, and he's so sick, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, hello, good morning, buenos dias. And we literally at midnight last night, I was like, listen, he's a grown man, and you can give him guidance just like I'm going to give you guidance. And this is a disease process that can be treated successfully in the hospital. And that's where he needs to be. But what if, how much time do I have if he doesn't go? I'm like, I don't know, right? I don't know. I don't know, because everybody's heart stops when their soul leaves their body. Right. That's what happens, whether it's a car accident, whether it's cancer, whether it's heart disease, whether it's horrible sepsis and infection, whatever it is, that's what happens. And doesn't mean we got to run toward the light. I'm like, is he suicidal? Is he? She's like, no, I don't think he is. It's like, well, then you got to, you have, what can you do? Right. And so literally we're having this discussion at midnight last night. And hopefully I talked her down, but you don't know what's going to happen. And at some point, and I think on the journey of being a healer and a physician, I remember being so annoyed and so irritated when patients wouldn't stop smoking, or they wouldn't listen to the advice that I was giving. And I really have come to this place of, this is the drama of life, and everybody's playing their own role. Everybody has their own yellow brick road, and everybody's making a choice. And I said this to another patient yesterday, every single thought that you have thought in your life has brought you to this moment right now. And so you can sit and look back and say why you're a victim of all this really bad stuff, or you can choose a different thought now and do something that's going to help you or not. But again, it's like, you can't, if everybody's got to do it in their own time, which is fine. But getting back to the point of the day, which is, by living from our higher self, ego ends naturally, and we are able to genuinely love and respect ourselves. So I find for myself, before I knew that I wasn't the ego mind, right? That I wasn't this conditioned self. The conditioned self is the one who speaks in your head and tells you why you can't do something, tells you why you're not good enough, tells you, and it's really kind of rampant record player that may be the words and the script that you've heard from other people, well-meaning, but also not aware, right? Living from a place of fear, maybe living from a place of resentment and anger, and you're growing up in that, and that becomes the script and the record player in your head, and you don't know that there's something else, right? And then there's your authentic self. So that was your conditioned self that limits you, that makes you feel worse, right? And then you have your authentic self, which is the one that is your soul conscious self, your pure, the one that knows that you are eternal, the one that knows that you are a being of light and love, that the one that knows that can give you compassion, right? And then there's your higher self, right? Your loving, wise adult, right? Which often you may, if you have children, and if you're in a resourceful place, I mean, when you're tired and you're sick or whatever, I mean, you might be finding yourself, I was there before, just screaming and yelling and directing and correcting, the kids and all of that. But if you're in a good place and you're able to have compassion for your child, right? There's a loving, wise adult. The 2-year-old who's having a tantrum on the floor. I mean, I remember my older one, we say that she had big feelings, right? And she would rah, and really big feelings. And I would grab her. I learned this from, oh my gosh, Becky Bailey. I think she wrote a book called Conscious Discipline. And she would show, like, when there's a tantrum happening, I would just grab her, I would hold her tight, and I would say, "You're okay, I've got you, you can handle this." And I would just repeat that over and over again, right? And it's that loving, wise adult identity that sees this soul, this little body suffering, where you just grab and you just give all this love, right? That loving, wise adult can run your show. And so once you recognize that that identity is there, has always been there with you, right? You can tap into that over and over again. But until you recognize that, or on the path to realizing that, you may go through this transformation process where you're looking back or you're feeling things, and you've got to distinguish, is this my authentic self? Is this my conditioned self? Is this did I make that decision from a conditioned self? If it's something that you did that you might regret, that you aren't happy that it went that way, or you wish you'd made a different decision, right? You probably made that decision from your conditioned self, because any decision, the conditioned self likes to make decisions from a place of fear, and it never goes exactly the way you want it. So you go to your authentic self, right? And then you might have regret, right? And then that's your conditioned self again, going, "Oh, I should have known better," right? And that's when you call in your loving, wise adult. You didn't know better, because every soul that's in a body is doing the best they can with the tools that they have, and from the level of consciousness that they have in that moment. And that's where grace comes in, right? Everybody is in their own journey. Yes, exactly. So if right, if you can discern and recognize, it takes, it's a skill. And when we start meditating, we allow for that space so we can really look at those thoughts that are coming, that you're creating, okay, that your soul is creating, right? Your mind, intellect, all this stuff. So when you recognize that by living from our higher self, ego ends naturally. The ego is that conditioned self, the one that gets offended, the one that feels disrespected, the one that is arrogant, the one that gets angry and pissed, the one that is attached to everybody or everything. Anger, greed, right? And so the ego ends naturally, because the ego is the one that causes all of our pain. And we are able to genuinely love and respect ourselves. And that's where we come into self-respect. So sometimes you have to, it's a process. It's a healing process. You're getting rid of the layers of the crap, okay? September 8th, never think, "I will do it sometime." Instead, do worthwhile things immediately. And this is true. We were just talking about procrastination yesterday. Nina's like, "What's procrastination?" I'm like, if you got to do something when you come home from school, come home and do it. Don't wait. She's got this homework assignment. It's called like My Bag. And so she's got to put like 5 things in it that's like about her. She's in 3rd grade. And I was like, okay, we can't wait till Sunday night at 11 p.m. to do this. We don't want to procrastinate, right? So never think, "I will do it sometime," right? Instead, do worthwhile things immediately. Saying it to you as much as I'm saying it to myself. Cannot procrastinate. All right, awesome. And then I'm going to give you, you're asking it is given. Ooh. Meditation is a state of allowing, where for just a few moments you stop trying to make anything happen. It is a time when you are saying to your source energy, to your inner being, to your God, or whatever you want to call it, source, "Here I am, in a state of allowing source energy to flow purely through me. 15 minutes of effort will change your life. It will allow the energy that is natural to you to flow. You will feel better in the moment, and you will feel more energized when you come out of it. This is a fact, okay? So do worthwhile things immediately. Yes. And this is where the meditation comes in. So we're going to do that. Hey, Neen, did you want to pick a card? So right before we meditate, we're going to pick a card here. Today is what? What day is it? Thursday?
Yes.
Okay. Hello. Good morning. You want to say hi, girls?
Hi.
Who's going to smile? Yes. So look, it just said to meditate, and we're going to meditate. Okay. So some people say, those of you who have a religious practice, praying is, or Deepak teaches, praying is talking to God. Meditation is listening. But if God is a triggering word, it's just allowing energy to flow so you can start looking at your thoughts too and picking them. Okay. So, but you can't pick your thoughts until you know, until you're aware of what's going on in here. So it's subtle. You can learn it. I never thought I'd be able to. But it's awesome. And there's no experience that we are seeking during the meditation, okay? There's no experience. The benefits of a meditation practice happen outside the practice. It happens in your life. All right. So, all right, girls, you want to pick one card?
Pick one?
Yes, you can pick one too. What you get? All right, Neen, go ahead. You go first.
Denial.
Denial. Can you read the sentence?
I acknowledged my fear, but I replaced it with the insight. With the insight and of awareness.
Okay, you want to read it smooth one more time? You got it.
I acknowledge my fear, but replace it with the insight of
awareness.
Of awareness.
Excellent. Good one. Let's show
Mine
it.
is indecision.
Ooh, these are good ones for today.
All right. I use my intuition in all aspects of life.
Ooh, I use my intuition in all aspects of life. All right, we're going to read these. All right, girls. Awesome. Okay. Thank you, girls. Right after this, we got to run to the bus. So let's do this. All right, hang on. We're going to do denial. Denial. This is huge. Yes, I acknowledge my fear, but replace it with awareness. It is time to open up and be completely honest with yourself. And this is exactly what we were just talking about. It is time to open up and be completely honest with yourself at this present moment. Buried fears and resentments do not die. Only by bringing them to the surface and examining them in the light of day with love and compassion will you banish them from your life. I cannot believe that we were just talking about this. Okay. It may bring you pain and heartache to reflect upon these situations again. But you are only giving them power by suppressing them. So true. The dangerous seeds of denial will grow and spread and manifest unless you uproot them, examine them, and release them. This is the only way to become whole and healthy. Learn not to bury painful emotions in the first place. Deal with them as they come and take all the time you need to neutralize them without hiding them. Your soul wants to live honestly and authentically in the now. Don't hinder it by placing emotional landmines on its path. We do spiritual surgery in our Path of Silence retreat, which you will be hearing about coming up soon, and you'll have the opportunity to be a part of. And this is the crux of all of the healing. And so I talk about physician heal thyself, because if you do it for yourself, you'll be able to help others do it too. That's denial. Here's indecision. Okay. It's amazing how this whole class just ties in together. It's awesome. All right, here we go. Indecision. I use my intuition in all aspects of life. Your soul is spirit manifest in this physical dimension. Invisible, invisible. Okay. Your soul is spirit manifest in this physical dimension. Even though you may feel limited by the constraints of your body, your connection to the infinite wisdom of the universe is always available to you in the form of intuition. Another benefit of meditation is that your intuition gets stronger. You are never alone when making any decision. Spirit only wants the best for you. And by listening to your inner voice, you will always be guided to the proper outcome. Now, there's a difference between your inner higher self, your authentic self inner voice, and that conditioned self inner voice. All you have to do is ask. The expectations of others is only an illusion. You were not born to listen to fear. You were not born to listen to fear. You were taught to listen to it. I love my dad. He's turning 90. He's an amazing human and he is a loving soul. And he would say to me, life is not fun, Baba. You would say that to me, right? I'd be like, nah, right? You would like watch us watching TV and we're having fun. Life is not fun, Baba. Good intention. And you were not born to listen to fear. You were taught to listen to it. Visualize any decision in your life as a fork in the road. How does your body react when you imagine your travels down each path? At first glance, one may look easier to traverse, but the destination will cause anxiety and a heavy heart. Another path will be more difficult to walk, but the destination will feel light and calm. When you silence your mind and listen to your intuition, the signposts will always be obvious. So I actually am not a proponent of saying silence the mind because it's impossible to do that. However, it's important to choose which thoughts, which things that are going on in your mind to listen to. And your soul, once you become more soul conscious, it's easier to do that. All right, let's go ahead and get a little bit of meditation in. Go ahead and sit comfortably, close your eyes, and visualize your heart in the center of your chest with two nostrils, one in the right ventricle, one on the left. And let's take a deep inhale into those heart nostrils. And as you inhale, really fill yourself up with the truth that I am a pure, peaceful soul. Breathe out of your heart. Breathe normally. And we're going to ask ourselves just the first soul question. We're going to ask it, repeat it silently, and witness what comes to you. Allow anything to come to you. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? And rest. Rest in existence. Rest in awareness. Rest in consciousness. And as we rest, I'll pronounce 4 intentions. Just repeat them silently and release them into being. Joyful, energetic body. Joyful, energetic body. Loving, compassionate heart. Loving, compassionate heart. Reflective, alert mind. Reflective, alert mind. And lightness of being. Lightness of being. Continue to rest. And when you're ready, you can slowly start wiggling your fingers and toes, flutter open your eyes, rub the tops of your legs, and give yourself a big stretch. Bring your palms together to your heart center if you feel called to do so, and give yourself a little bow of gratitude for bringing yourself here today, for being open and willing to reconnect with your true self. And from this place, let's give a blast of love and light energy out to all of our family, our friends, our patients, our community, our city, our state, our country, to all the countries on this planet, to every single brother and sister soul on this planet. And then from there, we give a blast of that energy out into the universe. And then from there, it gets boomeranged right back to us. I'll say namaste, the divine light in me sees and honors the divine light in you. Please put your takeaways in the comments. If you're watching on YouTube, hit like, subscribe, and share. And have an awesome day, everybody. Namaste. I'll see you back here tomorrow morning. Sending you love. Mwah.